All right, we should be live. How's it going, Nick? Thank you for stopping in on day 6 of the 30 days, 30 chats project that I have going on here. I'm very excited to talk to you today. And right off the rip, if you could let people know where they can find you, where they can support you, and then give us a little bit of backstory on your Pokemon journey, who you are, and how you got into Pokemon.
Yeah, so thanks for having me on. I've been enjoying these daily podcasts. I'm halfway. I'm pretty much caught up. I'm halfway through your episode with Shug from last night.
Nice.
So I've been enjoying them all, and hopefully you can keep it up for the next 30 days there.
We're gonna try. We're gonna try.
But yeah, no, I'm Nick, Old School Pokemon. I got a YouTube channel with Catch 'em All Collectibles, Dan, Pokeflips podcasts that we're live every other week on. I've got Instagram, Old School Pokemon, and then where I mainly am is on eBay. Doing eBay lives 6 nights a week, Monday through Saturday at this point. So that's a lot of fun. Been having a ton of fun with that. But what was the other thing you wanted to?
How did you get into Pokemon, and kind of what's your journey between when you got in or when you got back in and where you are?
Oh yeah. So typical 90s, getting into it as a kid. Quickly got out with Team Rocket because I'm unlike most people, it seemed to really like Team Rocket back in the day. I absolutely hated Team Rocket back then. So that kind of got me out of Pokemon. So I was mainly in for base Jungle Fossil, and then got out. And then fast forward to 2009, I'm just kind of cleaning out my room one day, and I stumble upon all of my old childhood collection that I completely forgot about for years and years. But stumbled upon that, and there was some new video game that I really wanted. My mom and dad wouldn't buy it for me at the time, so I had to come up with my own money. And so I stumbled upon these cards. My dad was into coins. He was back then. He was doing coin shows and selling on eBay. So for whatever reason, I found my old childhood collection. Thought, hey, maybe these could be worth some money, and asked him to help me list them on eBay, which luckily he did. And I did not know anything about Pokemon, kind of sorted through the collection, arranged it the best I could. We listed it as a 7-day auction, and I remember just coming home from school every day, checking out the views, the watchers, answering a few questions, and just fell in love with selling on eBay. So instead of, when the auction ended, got like $25, and I was so excited. And so instead of buying that video game, whatever I wanted, I started to think about other things I could sell on eBay. And then it really wasn't me wanting to get into Pokemon. It was just me wanting to sell other stuff on eBay. But it just so happened that a few days after that auction ended, me and my dad went to a local coin shop. And the coin shop had a 2-player starter deck display case, the one from the base set with Machamp in it. And me not knowing anything about Pokemon, I thought, hey, this is cool. I can get a whole bunch of different cards, break them up, sell them into open the decks, break them up, sell them in lots, and maybe make some money on that. And so I bought that for the $25 that I had. My dad loaned me $25 as well, and we were able to buy this display case for $50 total. Got it home, opened everything up, and realized that there were a ton of the same cards in there, with a ton of energies. But I was able to break those up, sell them in small lots, and did decently well on it. And so that kind of just turned into finding other lots on Craigslist, Facebook, eBay, going to yard sales, going to flea markets, all that stuff, and buying collections, breaking them up, selling individual cards, smaller lots, all that stuff. And been doing that since 2009. Took a little bit of a break, the end of college, last 2 years of college. and then pretty much got right back into it after I graduated from college in 2015.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you were a sailor for a while.
Yes.
And at the start of kind of the pandemic boom, you were on the water and you had
Yeah.
a lot of like inventory that you weren't able to move. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience? About, first of all, did you know about what was happening when you were out there? Like, did you have internet access and stuff when you were out there, and were you aware of things, or was it like a big shock when you came back?
So I knew we have internet on the ship. It's not very good internet. So they have certain sites blocked. Like you can't go on YouTube at all. You can go on Instagram. You can go on Facebook. eBay was a site that was blocked as well. So I couldn't go on eBay to actually look at pricing. But I was able to kind of stay in touch with Pokemon people through Instagram, Facebook, seeing all the like Pokemon posts on Facebook. So I knew what was going on. So I joined the ship the beginning of May 2020. So before it was starting to pick up, there was a lot more traction with Pokemon, but the pricing hadn't skyrocketed at all yet. So I joined the ship in May 2020, and because it was kind of peak COVID right then, the ship that I was on, we couldn't do international crew changes because no country wanted some foreigners to get off in their country. So we had to wait until we got back to the U.S. To do a crew change, so I could actually get off the ship. And the ship that I worked on, they call it a tramp ship. So basically, you load cargo somewhere, you drop it off somewhere else, and then they find new cargo for you. There's really no set route that you go on. Okay. So we ended up spending from May until the end of November, traveling the world, going to all different countries. Finally got back into the U.S. the end of November, and by then the boom was calming down. But it was such a miserable time on the ship. First, you couldn't get off in all these foreign countries, which usually that's like one of the biggest perks of being on the ship, is being able to kind of explore different countries. So we couldn't get off the ship at all. I knew that this boom was happening, and I couldn't do anything about it. I was also really worried because at that time, I had my entire collection just sitting in boxes in my closet. I didn't have any type of safe. I didn't have any type of insurance. And so I was worried something was going to happen there as well. And then I was just having such FOMO about missing out on this entire boom that basically that whole trip on the ship, I was telling myself, this is it. I gotta try going full-time Pokemon. And so got off the ship in November, and that's when I went full-time Pokemon. And the first few months home were it was a complete shock, because it's like I'm getting back into Pokemon. I don't know any of these prices. So I had to kind of relearn the market, which was wild.
Yeah, that would be. It's weird to think that you like in that short amount of time, within a year, 6 or 7 months or however long you were on the ship, that it totally changed. Like it was so fast. I can imagine that, having all of that sitting in a closet and not knowing when you were going to get back, or if you were going to get back, and then if you were going to take advantage of any of it. And were you connected to like distribution and stuff at the time? Did you have like those business lines already set up before you had gone on the ship, or was that something that you established when you got back?
So I got into distro 2018, 2019, somewhere in there. So I did have distro, which was nice. I wasn't doing much with it. I would get maybe a case or two of each new set as it came out. And funny story about that, actually. Evolutions. That was the last call for Evolutions when I was on the ship. So I got an email from, because they used to email you saying, hey, hey, Pokemon's done printing this. This is going to be the last call for this set. If you want any more, you can get it. And so we got our last call email for Evolutions, and I was on the ship at the time, and I emailed my rep and said, hey, I'd like to pick up. I forget what I got. It wasn't much, but I think I got like 4 cases of Evolutions boxes. I'd like to grab 4 cases. Can you? I'm on the ship right now. Can I get these and just have you guys hold them until I get back? And they said, sure, not a problem. So I got my 4 cases at whatever the cost was. And at the time of that last call, say my cost was whatever, $85 a box. Boxes were selling for $95, whatever. So it wasn't a great deal, but I had always liked Evolutions. So I picked those up, and then by the time I got off the ship, those boxes were $800, whatever they are.
10 times while you're on.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. Before we go any further, let's say hi to some people in the chat. So we got iFOMO, hello, Spat. Dan, I think, is hopping out, but it's going to be in his backlog. Son of a Merc, hello. Alice, hello. And Chef, tapping in, hello.
Chef needs to be streaming. He can't be listening to this.
He had a big, long stream earlier today, okay?
That is true. I'll give it to him.
So before we get to the streaming part of things, what was kind of the structure of your business prior to kind of moving full-time into the streaming side of things?
So I was always about singles, bulky singles. Started off just doing WotC, commons, uncommons, rares, hollows, obviously. But everything started out as singles, buying big collections, breaking them down into singles, selling them that way. It started out as just WotC, and then very slowly progressed into doing modern singles as well. And it'd be the same thing. Opening boxes, opening packs, breaking everything down into singles, selling complete sets, selling single cards, which I really, really enjoyed that. But it takes up so much time and work.
Yeah. So then when you decided, because that's very different from the streaming thing.
Yeah.
Were you approached by eBay to start streaming, or did you kind of hear over some conversations that there was going to be a live platform coming up? Like how did it come to front of mind? How did you make that decision to make the change?
So I briefly streamed on Whatnot. This would have been, I want to say this could have been early 2021, maybe 2021. Sporadically, I would do like 1 stream a week, and then I would take a month off, and then I would do 2 streams a week, and then I would take a few more months off. And so it was nothing serious, but I liked the idea of live selling. I just didn't like the idea of being on Whatnot, because I wanted to build a relationship with eBay, and I also liked having all my sales in one place, because it's a lot easier to kind of manage and see how you're doing versus breaking it up over multiple different platforms. So I liked the idea of live selling, but I didn't like being on Whatnot, so I gave that up. And then eBay announced that they were going to be coming out with a live selling platform it must have been 2022, early 2023. I think it was 2022 actually. So they announced that they were going to be coming out with a live selling platform, and I was very, very interested in that, because that gave me the ability to do live selling on eBay, which was the perfect scenario for me. And I also believed in eBay, knowing that so many people have the eBay app. They have notifications for the eBay app. There's a ton of potential for it. And so I was 2023. I had like a eBay person at eBay that I talked to kind of give improvements for my eBay store, Let me know how I'm doing, what I can improve on, so on and so forth. And it just so happened that one day we were talking about live selling, and I told him if there's any possibility of getting me on eBay Live whenever you guys start accepting sellers, I would love to be a part of that. And so it just so happened that timing worked out perfectly, where they were just about to initially open it up to regular sellers, because before that it was more so like big events that people would fly out to eBay headquarters and do these promoted streams. So this was right before they initially launched it, and so within I want to say it was within a week or two, I did the onboarding process and was able to start selling on eBay Live. And I was luckily one of the first sellers on there, which was a little intimidating, because back then it was like me, it was Troll and Toad, and then like the what's his name, the Card Father. He was on there, so it was like little old me and these other massive companies. But it ended up working out really, really well, and the rest is history.
So when you made the shift from your singles business to the streaming, did you go like, that's it, full-time streaming now? Did you like slowly, couple days, 3 days, 5 days, okay, we're full-time? Or was it just like, nope, cut it, we're going full?
No, so I knew I wanted to take eBay Live seriously, so I started off doing 3 days a week. I forget what I was doing. I think I was doing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, maybe. So I'd stream three-ish days a week for the first month or so, and I would also do my whole eBay store thing. So selling singles and all that stuff. And very, very quickly, I realized that it was not going to be possible to do that. But I tried to do it as long as I can. So I initially started middle of May 2023. I'm pretty sure it was 2023. Yeah, 2023, because this will be 2 years in May. So 2023 May, did 3 days a week, ramped up to 6 days a week the beginning of July. And when I ramped up to 6 days a week, after the first week of that, I realized it was not possible to do eBay, my eBay store, and doing the eBay Live. So one of those had to go. And I was doing so much more better with the lives than I was the singles, that it was an easy choice to get rid of the singles and just focus on the live streaming.
Okay, so you had some kind of proof that it was working before you completely transferred over from the business that you were used to into kind of the new platform, live streaming, all that.
Yeah.
With eBay, though, it was a new platform, and you had been doing the singles for a long time. Were you worried when you made the change at all that there would be maybe a lack of people participating in the Pokemon space on eBay Live, or a lack of people knowing that eBay Live was a thing? Or when you first started out, was it immediately successful, or did it take time to grow?
No, it was the first couple. I would say the first, from May until November, it was very, very hit or miss. It took me an incredibly long time to actually get successful on the live streaming, to a point where I wanted to like stay on that platform and not switch around. From May until November, there were just so many bugs on eBay. It was not a good platform. They had so much that they needed to fix, and the eBay Live team was just so small at the time that they weren't able to fix these issues in a reasonable length of time. So I was constantly messaging Walrus. Should I keep up eBay Live, or should I go over to Whatnot? Because I knew I wanted to do live selling at that point. I wanted to transfer from the singles to live selling. I really wanted to stick with eBay, but there were just so many inconsistencies. Viewership would be really good one night, absolutely terrible the next night. And so it was just a roller coaster of emotions. Staying on eBay, going to Whatnot, or trying some other platform.
What were some of the issues early on that you ran into? Like, what were some of the bugs that popped up? Or I feel like I heard of some stuff early on with like bids going through or people you can't block or something like it. Yeah. So can you give us some examples of some of the stuff you were running into early on?
The biggest issue I had, which absolutely because so I'm very very focused on the business. Business, it's obviously how I make money, my job, but it's also like my number one passion. I spend a ton of time with Pokemon, and so anything that goes wrong really affects me. Like back in the day, getting negative feedbacks on my account, it used to absolutely ruin my whole day. Now I don't care as much, but so back in October, right around the time of Charlotte Collecticon, there was someone who came into the stream and they would bid stuff up, and then they would just say, "Hey, I'm not going to pay for this."
Like a shill bidder person.
Yeah, exactly. Gotcha. And they were winning every single auction. And at that time, there was no way to block that person from being able to bid on eBay Live. You couldn't the block buyer thing on eBay wasn't connected to eBay Live. So even if you had them as a block buyer, it didn't have any effect on eBay Live. So they would come in every single night for I forget how it was a solid 2 or 3 weeks. I would try one stream, they would come in, so then I'd have to switch to pack ripping, buy it now, pack ripping. And it got to the point where I think I took about 2 weeks off from eBay Live because I could only rip packs, I couldn't do auctions, and it was just so frustrating. So that was definitely the biggest issue that had happened. Luckily, after 3-ish weeks of that happening, they finally made it so that the block buyer list was connected to eBay Live. So now that's never going to be an issue again. And then some other small issues too. People not being able to bid when they click the bid button. People not getting notifications that I'm live. Smaller issues like that too, but that October scenario was definitely the biggest one.
Yeah, I can't imagine that like that, especially when you're looking at basically leaving something you're familiar with your singles business, trying something new, and then something that big just keeping you from being able to do the work that you want to do. Yeah, that would be very disheartening. And frustrating awful. For sure.
Yeah. It was so bad. Because also I was excited for Charlotte because I was hoping to buy a ton of stuff for eBay Live, and then this whole issue comes up, and it's like, do I even buy a ton of stuff now? Because now I don't have a way to sell it outside of I could sell it on regular eBay, but do I even try and buy stuff at Charlotte, or do I focus more on selling? So that whole thing was tough, and it was such a bad timing too.
Yeah. Well, Chef is happy. Says, thank you, Nick. I'm glad I can block buyers because of you. Nick powered through those dark days like a champ. What's up, Grammar? It was dark. I was talking him off a ledge every week.
It is very true. It is very true.
Oh, man, that's brutal. Guys, make sure if you have any questions for Nick or myself, put them in the chat. This is as much a Q&A for you guys as it is for me. But we'll continue learning about Nick and his eBay. Oh, also above, I linked Nick's eBay page, so hit the save seller button on that page and you'll be notified. Do they do notifications if you're a save seller for the lives? Okay.
Yep.
You'll be notified next time he's live.
Yes.
All right. So one of the obviously I partner a bit with Chef, and I give him singles to sell, consignment and everything, and so I get to see his side of packing and auctioning and stuff on eBay Live as well. And I feel like one of the most difficult things I would think as a streamer, especially a full-time 6 days a week, is sourcing, like actually having the cards to sell and the cards that people actually want to buy from you to sell. So how do you possibly keep up with that as much as you're live? Because I can barely keep up with Chef, and he streams once, maybe twice a week, and you're doing it 6 times a week. So how?
It is a lot. It is a lot. So I do 6 nights a week, 120 auctions a night. So 700 cards a week is what we're selling through right now. And obviously you can get 700 bulky singles very, very easily.
Right.
But nobody wants to have a stream where you're running $2-3 cards just nonstop. So you actually have to get good stuff for your streams, and so it's a lot of it. So back when I was in Massachusetts, it was a lot of just looking on Facebook, looking on eBay, buying collections, going to shows every now and then, and going to the different collecticons to buy stuff. Now that I'm in Chicago, it's a lot more going to local shows. Luckily there's a lot of shows around here, which is awesome. So Walrus and I will go to shows basically every weekend.
Oh, that's awesome.
And try and buy stuff. Some shows are a lot more successful than other shows. But usually we're able to pick up a decent bit at any show that we go to. So it's a lot of in-person sourcing at the local shows. Occasionally buying stuff on Facebook still. Facebook hasn't been as good to me as it used to be. Used to be really, really good. Now it's tough to buy anything on there. So I'd say the biggest aspect is local shows, and then just people reaching out on Instagram, looking to sell collections every now and then.
Okay. I know that after you went full time, you kind of stepped back from YouTube. You used to do YouTube a lot and make different videos and content. I used to love all your breakdowns with I track everything very similar to the way you used to be tracking things with all my sales and my profits and everything on a line. And, just I love that stuff as well. So definitely loved all the content. Do you think losing, I guess, YouTube and keeping up with that audience, did you see a shift in the people who were reaching out to like sell you collections and stuff? Did you get less interest from people after moving away from YouTube, or does the stream kind of generate enough people reaching out to sell collections and stuff?
No, occasionally I'll purchase stuff from people who are actually in the stream. That doesn't happen super often though. Most of the people who are in the stream are just collecting. They're not selling anything. So I'll get people from like Instagram posts. When I post, occasionally make a post, saying, "Hey, I picked this collection up. If you have anything you want to sell, shoot me a message." I'll occasionally get people from that. But yeah, I think YouTube is a really, really good avenue for having people reach out to you, selling stuff like Dan, Mr. Consistency on YouTube. He's definitely at an advantage because he's been so consistent with YouTube. And that's one thing that I've tossed back and forth is doing some type of video. Whether it'll happen, I don't know. We'll see. But it would be a really good benefit for the business for sure.
There we go, guys. We almost got him. We almost just keep pushing. We'll get him back. Oh, yeah. I always liked your content a lot, so I would love it. But let's see. So I actually have this question as well, but we'll ask since Grimer also asked it. My version of this is, do you have any interest in going the Ray or Dan route and recruiting other streamers to operate under your Old School Pokemon name? Or are you just 100% okay being a one-man show at the moment?
At the moment, one-man show for sure. That would be really really tough for me to give up the streaming aspect. I would be very very hesitant to give that portion up, because obviously, like, being the streamer, you're the face of the brand. So you'd have to pick someone who's also really really good. Plus, I do genuinely really enjoy streaming. For the most part, I like going live every night. There are some nights for sure that I don't want to go live, but then once I actually go live, it's a lot of fun, and the time flies by. So I do still genuinely enjoy it. We will see what happens in the future. I think at some point it's gonna have to happen if I want to, like, expand and grow, because obviously there's only so much time in the day. I can't be live 24/7, so it's gonna have to happen at some point. But I think right now my thoughts would be, if it's even possible, me doing eBay Live, my regular schedule, and then potentially getting someone else for bid when Probe Scene launches that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I have a couple questions for you later on about that, because I have my little conspiracies around that platform and what that's going to turn out to be. But yeah, we'll see. Let's see. That kind of answered this, I feel like. What's the next step for your streaming business or future plans? Where do you see streaming in general in the future? Oh, where do you think streaming could, I guess, evolve to, or will it stay similar to what it is now and just continue to grow?
Oh, streaming is going to be the future. Streaming is definitely the future. I think it's only going to get bigger and bigger. I think it's only going to get bigger and bigger. More and more people are going to be on there. So yeah, I'd say streaming definitely the future. And then something that could happen longer-ish term, is an actual store, where it's not like you're relying on a storefront. It'd be more so set up where it's like an office / store. So you could be doing the streams there, and then also have like a place for people to come in and buy stuff there. Mainly for me, I'd see it as like a good opportunity to sell stuff, but a really good opportunity to buy stuff.
Yeah, like a sourcing avenue.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
being able, that's kind of what I thought about. Would be kind of a fun idea for someone if you could get stable internet. That's the problem with Collecticons, but running basically a live auction show at a table at a Collecticon. And you basically like two tables, one where the auction is running and one where you have like walrus sourcing people, like collections coming up to sell. And then you just like, this is what we just bought. You guys want any of this? And then you just immediately sell it right there. Just like I feel like that'd be kind of fun.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, if eBay Live were better set up to be able to stream directly from your phone, which right now it's not. You can't start auctions or anything from your phone. You need the computer. But I would love to have the ability to like walk around Collecticon with my phone, and as I'm buying stuff, be able to auction it right there. Or like you see the Whatnot sellers. They'll be walking around. Hey, do you guys see anything you like? If they see something in the case, they'll run an auction right then. I think that'd be really really cool.
That's
and
crazy.
I think that is something that people would genuinely like to do, because we've got Chicago Collecticon coming up right now, so we're talking about that a lot in the streams, and there's a ton of people who want to know what Collecticon's all about, but they can't justify flying out and getting a hotel and all that stuff. So if I could be on a stream and walking around Collecticon, I think it'd be really really popular.
Yeah, that'd be really cool for sure, definitely. Let's see. Do we have any more questions before I hop into my stuff? Thoughts on Nick holding a Nick lookalike contest to find the next streamer? Walrus with the best questions. Do you see anything you like while he holds the phone only focused on his face? Oh, man. Okay, let's see. I'd like to talk about eBay a little bit because I feel like I haven't run a stream, but I've seen Chef and I've talked to Chef about his issues that he's had with eBay Live. So I have two questions, I guess. I have heard, I have talked crap in a couple of streams in this month about eBay Live, and then I see people in the chat saying, "Oh, they're fixing stuff though. They're moving. They're fixing stuff. They're doing stuff now." And it's like, okay, I haven't heard yet. So if you could tell people what is eBay Live's trajectory forward? Are they what are they fixing? What are they trying to make better about the platform?
They're still there are still it's a million times better from when it initially launched.
Oh, yeah.
It is still in beta testing. They haven't brought it out of beta. So it is still there. There are still slight issues that people run into. Still occasionally you'll have people saying that they weren't able to bid. Occasionally you'll have people saying that they didn't get a notification that I was live. So there are still issues that need to be worked out. Payment processing is kind of a bigger issue that we'll hopefully see a solution to at some point this year.
The 4 days to pay still on eBay Live auctions.
Yep. Same as regular eBay. Automatic payment, or at least knowing that you're going to get payment would be really, really big. Because then you can do box breaks differently. Whereas now it takes a solid 3-4 minutes from when people buy something to when it pops up on your end. So it's kind of annoying to do a box break.
Okay.
So stuff like that, but hopefully that'll be coming later this year. We'll see what happens. But yeah, and then just I personally think there's more like cosmetic issues, like the eBay homepage, or the eBay Live homepage. I don't like how that's set up. I think they need to add like a section where it's just sellers that you follow and all their streams that are upcoming. I think you need the ability to search for a streamer, because right now it's still the same like foundation that they had when eBay Live first launched, and there were so many less sellers on there. Last Friday, I noticed that there were 39 active streams, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for eBay Live, that is actually a lot of streams happening at once. And finding a specific stream that you want to go into is pretty tough with the way it's set up right now.
Yeah, I feel like most other live platforms, not even just selling platforms, but like Twitch, for instance, or even YouTube, they have the little sidebar that's like, here's all of your followed streams and whether or not they're live right now. Or even if you went to the eBay Live page, if the first kind of carousel at the top was, here are all the people that you have hit save seller on, and and then a little thing like, yes, this person is live right now. Something like that. Because I have to go to the page, I have to click trading card game, and then I have to scroll to find you guys instead of it just being right there. So yeah, definitely some UI stuff that they could improve for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I think, and from what I've heard, 2025 is going to be the year for eBay Live. They finally expanded the eBay Live team, which was awesome, because for the first year of eBay Live, I don't know exactly, but it was a very, very small team. Now it's a lot bigger. They're putting a lot more money into eBay Live, and they're making it a very, very high priority for eBay in general. So it's awesome to hear that stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll start seeing some more rapid changes. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Cool. The other thing I wonder is, do you think that eBay is paying attention to some of the controversies on the other platforms and are doing their best to try and not have that happen on their own? Or as they open up to new sellers, are you seeing a lot of the same like gambling stuff that is now kind of cracked down on and whatnot? Is that showing up on eBay? Do you feel like they have a gauge of what other platforms have gone through, or do you feel like they're just kind of doing their own thing and we might see some of the same issues?
I don't think you'll see the same issues. eBay's a lot more selective about. I don't exactly know how they vet sellers and let sellers on, but eBay's a lot more selective about who they're letting on the platform, especially right now where it's so small. But they've also said they don't want it. They don't want the whole whatnot thing to happen, and I think they'll. There's been a few things that they've allowed that I don't like, and I've told them that, but I'm not the only one who's making the decisions from a seller's end. Like the whole mystery box thing. I never liked the idea of mystery boxes. But there are a lot of sellers on there who wanted mystery boxes to be a thing. And so eBay decided that, okay, you guys can do mystery boxes. There are a lot of rules in place. You have to like specify what exactly people are getting. It can't just be a random box of anything. It has to be very specific. Your value range cannot be that high. So there are a lot of rules implemented to kind of prevent that whole whatnot thing, the gambling aspect. But it is definitely still there to an extent. But hopefully eBay continues to kind of put the rules in place and then also enforce the rules as well. I know there are people. I don't know if it's just I assume it's not just my stream, but I know there are people from eBay who are actively going into streams and watching the streams. So that's good to see, at least.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so Probstein, big eBay seller, one of the biggest consignment eBay accounts, probably, I would assume, making their own platform instead of continuing to use eBay Live. Why do you think, especially if eBay is going to make it more of a priority going forward? I wonder why Probstein would put in so much probably money, time, effort into creating that other platform. I know you obviously can't read his mind, but if you have any inferences on that, what do you think?
So Probstein is wild. He was doing eBay Live for a long time. I want to say it was close to a year, going live every single day, and it was him doing the live streams. He had someone helping him in the background, but he was the actual face of the streams, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, no, he really enjoyed the live selling. He was, I think, I don't know. I think he was definitely getting tired of how slow eBay was moving, with building out a platform. And I think the concept of bid, where you can have 5 different streamers. So there's 5 different streams happening at once. You're the buyer coming into all 5 of those streams, buying however many cards from each stream. At the end of the show, all those streamers package everything up and mail them off to Probstein. And Probstein packages each buyer's order and mails them off to the buyer. I think the concept of that is really, really good. I think there's a lot of things that can go wrong with that concept, but if it does work out really good, I think there's a lot of potential behind that, because obviously the biggest thing about live streaming is the shipping. Shipping takes so long for people to do, and so if you can eliminate shipping individual orders, it would be absolutely massive.
So would he extend like lower rates or shipping contracts or something that he has to the streamers on the platform to make it, because it sounds like you'd be shipping the package twice. You'd be shipping the Probstein and then shipping, or are you shipping everything that you're going to sell eventually to Probstein and they hold inventory and then they direct ship it? How?
So you go live, I go live, I sell 100 cards.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the stream, I box all 100 cards up and mail them to Probstein.
Gotcha.
And then from there, Probstein holds the cards for, they said 30 days. They'll hold everything up till 30 days. So they'll make a bin of each buyer and hold all the orders that buyer places up to 30 days. And then when the buyer wants their package, Probstein boxes everything up from all the different streamers and mails that box to the end consumer.
So you're only doing one box, sending it to Probstein, and then Probstein's doing the work of separating it all out.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. It's basically like buy E, essentially, like a
exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that would cut down a lot. I feel like, especially time shipping, because you're putting everything into one package and sending it off, and then cost shipping. Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah. No, definitely. And then the other aspect of that is this is a complete theory, but I do think Probstein thinks that he can build a better platform quicker without having to jump through all the corporate hoops that eBay has to jump through. And I can definitely see some type of integration with Bid and eBay at some point. I have no idea, but I can definitely see that happening.
Yeah, that was my little tinfoil hat conspiracy that I mentioned, was he's building this out faster. He doesn't have the red tape. He's fixing all the issues. He's going to make a cool platform. And then eBay's going to be like, okay, we'll offer you this much money. If there's not already a contract in place right now, who knows? But yeah, very interesting. That'll be interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, I think shipping seems like the most cumbersome process of streaming, having to ship all those individual packages, having to keep all that straight, having to pay up for all the orders and waiting 4 days. Some people buy right away. Some people buy 3 days from now. If you were just done and shipped all that to one place to do all the work after that, that would be huge.
Oh yeah.
That would save you guys a lot of time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know about all that. That's really interesting. So for somebody who's listening to our chat right now, or who watches a lot of Whatnot, is like, this seems easy. Let me fire up a Whatnot stream and start selling. What have you learned over the last year or two, selling a little on Whatnot, selling a little on eBay, or a lot on eBay? What would you tell someone who's just trying to get into it now to grow, I guess, or to become somewhat successful on a streaming platform? Do you have any advice for someone who wants to start today?
Consistency is the biggest thing. Like anything, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. Being consistent and sticking with the schedule is really, really important. Obviously now that I've had my same schedule for so long, for the most part, people know that I'm going to be live at this time, so they don't have to rely on notifications and just like random pop-up streams. I think having a specific schedule of, I'm going to be live at this time on this day is really, really important, and sticking to that. And then the other aspect is you're going to lose money in the beginning. I think it'd be possible to grow a stream and not necessarily lose a ton of money in the beginning, but I think it would take a lot longer. So for example, if you started streaming and you're just running like cheap Japanese ARs just nonstop. Obviously, those are going to get some bids. Maybe you'll break even, make a tiny little bit of money, but your viewership isn't going to enjoy that. So you wanna mix in some higher end cards that people get excited over and they want to bid on and have that potential to get a really good deal in the stream. So the more good stuff that you can add into the stream, the better off you're going to be, the faster your following is going to grow, the more excited people will be to tune on into your stream. You definitely have an audience that wants those cheap cards, but you have a lot more people that are more excited to buy $20, $50, $100 cards. Mm-hmm. So just I would say go into it knowing that for the first however month, 2 months, you're going to lose money. Just accept that fact and kind of build up an audience and then know that in long term it's going to pay off.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be a big hurdle for people right away is the losing the money.
Yeah, no, it 100% is. It definitely is.
When you started, I'm assuming you had did you have a pretty big backlog or a collection of singles that you were able to work through from your business prior to kind of get you started, and it wasn't just like from scratch go like you had?
Luckily, I had my eBay store, had everything listed on there, and then for each stream, I would just delist. Well, however many, I think I started out doing like 60 cards a night. So I would just delist 60 cards from my eBay store and run those. So I had income coming in from regular eBay, and then just kind of supplementing that from eBay Live. Okay. So it was kind of a little different perspective where it wasn't just I'm solely focused on streaming. All my money is coming from streaming, so I really can't lose money on these sales right here, because then I can't buy anything else.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like I have a bunch of like non-gradables and stuff, but even after grading and selling, a lot of the stuff that I have now is like it's just like dead stock. Like it doesn't really cost me anything for it to sit, but I'd like for it to move. Yeah. So it's like, well, maybe apart from sending a bunch to Chef all the time, it's like, well, maybe I should start 1 day a week or something on Whatnot or something and just move through a bunch of this stuff that's just sitting around, because I don't know. I don't like it's just sitting around when I know we're in a boom.
Yeah,
and it
exactly.
Needs to, it needs to go. It needs to move.
No, for sure. And it's the easiest way to sell stuff. You don't need to scan it. You don't need to create listings for it. Literally just showing the card on the stream, running it for a 30-second auction, and moving on into the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's Java telling me to stream more. No.
Yes, it is. You need to stream more.
I would never. Let's see. So we talked a little bit about Chicago Collecticon. That's coming up this weekend. Very excited to see you and Walrus and everybody there. It's going to be a ton of us going and hanging out. But I have a question for you. Because I feel like over the last couple of years, Collecticons have kind of not been a thing that you've done. You go to like select ones, but you don't go to maybe as many as you did prior to, going full-time streaming. Mm-hmm. So from a business standpoint, are Collecticons worth taking those nights off of stream to attend, or do you do it exclusively like to hang out with friends and have it be like a mini vacation essentially?
It's definitely partially a mini vacation. Being able to take time off, hang out with everyone, have a good time. That's what I'm most looking forward to for Chicago. But it could also be a really good sourcing opportunity. Assuming you don't leave a box of stuff in the Uber like we did we
Oh no.
Walrus and I'm going to blame Walrus, but we left an entire box of it was like a $10,000 box of vending sheets, Japanese Southern Island staff
Oh
promos
no.
in the Uber, and never got that back. So that hurt for the last CollectCon that I went to.
That Uber was like 5 stars, 5 stars.
Yeah, exactly.
Biggest tip of my life.
Exactly.
Damn, that's rough. Way to go, Rollers. Jeez.
But no, it can be a really good sourcing opportunity because similar to the local shows, there's stuff that does really, really well in the live stream that even if you're paying 80-90% of market, if I can go in and select very specific cards, it's still worth it for me because those cards are going to sell a little bit over market. Modern sealed promos, like the ETB promos, I sell these all the time. The Build-A-Bear Workshop Pikachus.
Oh yeah.
Some of the sealed promos do really, really well through the streams. Now my camera's all messed up, but some of those do really, really well through the streams. So if I can go to a local show and pick up certain copies, it's definitely worthwhile going. But you just got to be selective. I'm not one of the people who's going to be buying out an entire table at CollectCons, unless someone wants to give me a really good deal. But but for the most part, it's just picking up very, very specific stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How do you track that? Like, do you know based on what you've sold, like going into, like, let's say going into this Saturday when you're going into the con, is it like, are you going to come with the list of like, okay, I need these packs for the stream, I need, maybe some more of these singles, or is it just like you just know from what you've sold recently, you can like keep it?
Yeah, no, it's more just mentally picking out cool cards. Like before pricing skyrocketed on XY full arts. That was one thing Walrus and I would always pick up is XY full arts, megas, stuff like that, because they did really, really well through the streams. And then like popular character rares from the Sword and Shield era, popular illustration rares, just kind of cool Pokemon, is mainly what we're buying. And usually like within the price range of like $5 to $20 is what I like to buy the bulk of. And then anything above $20 is a little bit more selective. Okay. But yeah, don't really go in with a list. Just kind of go in, walk around to every table, see what they have. And then obviously like you go in, look at a few cards on their table. If they're reasonably priced, look for a few more cards. And then also looking for tables that have a lot of stuff that I can buy. So that way I can kind of get a deal on something. If it's someone that just has like 1 or 2 cards, probably pass on that table. If it's someone where pricing is absurd, pass on that table. So yeah, that's kind of how you go into it.
So it's kind of go up to the table, kind of spot check a couple. And are you mostly looking for near mint stuff typically, like when you're looking at conditioning? And okay.
Yeah, the biggest thing is near mint condition, XY. So XY to modern, $5 plus, Pokemon only, no trainers, no energies. And then WotC hollows, reverse hollows, light play to near mint, and maybe a little bit of EX era reverse hollows.
Okay.
Anything diamond and pearl, heart gold, soul silver, black and white, probably pass on.
Pretty rough in those generations.
Yeah.
You think that's mostly because during that time, like there just wasn't there's no nostalgia really from kind of the bulk of the people in the hobby for those generations?
I think that's a big part of it. It could also just be what I typically stream. There's so much variables with the streams. Like like Weedle's Warehouse. He's another streamer. He focuses a lot on Japanese. So he does really, really well selling Japanese cards. For me, I'm mainly English, so I focus on WotC and modern English. I'll do really, really well on English stuff. But when it comes to Japanese, it usually still does good now, but I think he does better with running Japanese stuff. So I think it's kind of you build an audience geared around what you've been selling, and they just kind of keep coming back for that.
Do you think it's important to kind of carve out a niche when you're going, or do you think, like, is it better to be, I'm the English Pokemon guy that specifically does modern or does some WotC, or I'm the Japanese guy who runs only Japanese? Do you think it's better to be narrowed into like a niche like that so people understand what they're coming into every day, or is it better to have a large variety of things that you're running all the time?
I definitely think it's better to have a variety,
Okay.
because you're believe it or not, you're getting the vast majority of the viewership in the streams is the same people every single night. You're getting new people. People aren't coming in one night, but for the most part, your core audience is the same people coming in every single night. And so if you narrow yourself down to just WotC, or whatever your niche is, niche, whatever that is, you're gonna repeat yourself way too often.
Yeah.
For me, it's tough, but I try and only run 2 of the same card within a week time frame. That way, people aren't seeing that same stuff over and over and over again.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that makes, I mean, I feel like that makes sourcing even more difficult because you now have to source a large variety of different things instead of, buying like 20 of a particular character rare, or 20 of a particular, alt art or whatever to run.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
people get sick of seeing the same card over and over again.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. One more question, I guess. So you have experienced now 2 market booms in 2 different styles of Pokemon business. So the first one was single selling on eBay. The second one is live streaming, selling on eBay Live. In what ways is the streaming or the singles, I guess I'm just going to read it the way that I have it written and see if it makes sense. In what ways is it better or worse being a streamer in a boom versus the way that you used to do business in singles?
From a business perspective, I think it's a lot better selling in the live streams. Because like we said earlier, it's a lot quicker. You don't have to sit there listing all these cards, so it's a lot easier to move through inventory a lot quicker. And because Pokemon's so hot right now, typically stuff is going to sell for good prices. So you don't really have to worry about stuff going super low. You do still have those cards that go really, really low. But if you average it all out, you don't have to worry too much about stuff going really low. Plus, when it comes to pack ripping, I'm able to sell packs, sell boxes, but pre craziness with English Modern, I'm able to sell packs and boxes for more than what you could on regular eBay. Now that packs and boxes are crazy expensive, and I'm trying to build a live community, I'm selling them for a lot cheaper than you could on regular eBay. But there's a different reason behind that. But then if you flip it over and say from the personal perspective, there are some disadvantages to live selling, and one of the biggest ones for me is just seeing people overpay for stuff. It doesn't happen super often, but it definitely does happen where people. So like you have people paying $1, $2 over market. That's not a problem. But there's times where there are definitely times where stuff goes wild, and it's a little tough because you know that you kind of know that person from them being in the stream all the time. And it's tough because from a business perspective, it's really, really good for you. But then at the same time, there are times that I do feel bad for people. And so it kind of has that like that mental dilemma of, is it good? Is it bad? What, should you say anything? Should you do anything? So in that aspect, it is easier to just sell on regular eBay where you don't have a community. You're just selling to random people on the internet.
Yeah. I feel like there's almost an advantage, and I hate to say it because I don't like to think about people this way, but I feel like, especially in the live streaming stuff, there's almost an advantage to just kind of look at everyone in the stream as like a potential buyer, like basically just a username on a screen and not like a person, because then you can divorce that empathetic side or sympathetic side of yourself from them. And you can say, well, I, auctioned it for 99 cents, whatever it goes for. And I don't care if you pay double market for it or whatever. But it does kind of suck because also you're trying to build like a relationship with the people in the stream so that they keep coming back and they're having fun, and it's a community essentially that you're building as well. So it is kind of a dilemma on how you decide to treat that relationship. So in the middle of that, you said that right now you're making less on boxes than you would if you were just selling those boxes on eBay, because of the market price of sealed modern right now is insane. But you said there was a specific reason for that. What I feel like this reason is the one that you guys fought over a little bit on flips a few weeks ago.
Yes.
But I actually agreed with you.
Awesome.
So I would like I'd like to hear from you, like why are you okay making less on those boxes right now than just selling them for 110% or whatever?
So first off, I'm buying the boxes through distro, so I'm buying them for whatever it is. It's high 90s, mid to high 90s is what I'm buying them for. So selling them at MSRP, I'm still making really good margins. Obviously, if I sold them at market, I could make even higher margins, but I'm still making really good margins selling at MSRP. I'm getting not a ton. Like for Journey Together, I got 135 boxes, so it's a decent bit. It's not like I'm getting 2 boxes or something. It's still a decent bit that I'm getting. So I'm able to make a good bit of money. And then also, more importantly for me, is I'm able to kind of provide product to people who aren't able to get it, to kind of grow my eBay Live community. Kind of not necessarily giving back, but in a way, kind of giving back to the people who are in the streams all the time buying stuff for whatever they're paying for these cards. Giving back to them to kind of allow them to grab a box at cheaper than all these other prices. So it's in a way giving back, kind of, sort of, but and then also just kind of growing my eBay Live community. People really, really appreciate that because they know that market value on these is like Journey Together was 230 when it came out. I was doing
Crazy.
160. It was insanity. And so people were really, really happy about that. And I think it's going to kind of encourage people to come back and buy something else in the stream, or even just hang out in another stream. There were a lot of new people that came into that Journey Together stream, and then stayed for that whole stream to just hang out with us, bought a few packs, and then also came back into future streams and bought some more singles. So I think as long as I can still get a decent bit of product for every release, I would like to try and continue that for as long as possible. It'll be interesting with Team Rocket. I'd love to be able to do that at MSRP, and as long as I can get as around what I got for Journey Together, I think it'll happen. So I think that'd be awesome to be able to do that.
Yeah, I like that way of, because I'm definitely more, and Chef is definitely more of like the people in the stream are people, and you want to build a relationship with them. You want to make them happy to come into stream every time. And for every new release now, people are going to be like, oh, I'm going to go to OSP because he has the best prices.
Yep.
And I'm sure other eBay sellers are not too happy with you, but it's a solid way to get, people in your stream. And if you're able to keep doing it, I think people will keep coming back on release day because they know that you're the guy to go to for the good prices on release, or like, and then hopefully, like you said, they get there, they see your personality, they see your banter with Walrus and other people in chat, and then they want to come back and because it's just a fun environment. So yeah, I think it's a good, I think doing good things for people is a good thing.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
I do think in the long term it'll pay off, and hopefully once this boom is over, be able to start getting even more product through distro and be able to continue offering cheap prices and kind of make it known that, okay, if you want to get sets at release, go into my stream, and be able to get boxes for a really good deal. So yeah, that's definitely something that I'd love to continue doing.
I'm assuming in a live environment you don't because I know I don't know if you watched, but Brian Pokiania made a video. He was very frustrated about selling Journey Together at MSRP, I think, or something, and he said basically he got more hate mail than he did, positive responses because of the website, struggling and stuff like that, and he's like, screw it, future releases, I'm probably just going to sell market, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I assume though in a live environment you probably don't get as much of the negativity.
Not really. There definitely worse. There was some negativity, so I got 135 boxes. On a typical night, we'll have like 60, 70 people in the stream.
Mm-hmm.
So right there, that's only 2 boxes per person if everyone takes 2 boxes.
Right.
But then with Journey Together, there were way more people in the stream. We had 200 people in the stream for the Journey Together release. So not everyone was able to get a box. And so we did drops of like 45 boxes every hour for the first 3 hours. And the boxes would sell out in a matter of a minute, which was wild. I was not expecting that. So there were definitely people who were frustrated that they weren't able to get a box, that there were way more people in the stream than normal. But for the most part, everyone was positive about it, because if you weren't able to get a box, maybe you were able to get an ETB, or maybe if you were able to get some loot packs instead. So I think pretty much everyone was able to get something, which was cool. But there were definitely people who were upset. But for the most part, it was all mostly positivity. And then just kind of telling people when that negativity would come up. Just kind of telling people, hey, this was the first time we've gone through something like this. Surging Sparks wasn't the same because pricing was already below MSRP. So I was offering boxes for like $10 less than market at the time. So Surging Sparks didn't sell out as quickly. So the Journey Together was really the first time that we had this kind of scenario happen. And so it was a learning experience for me. Come Destined Rivals and future sets, I'll know that I have to do things a little bit differently next time, to kind of get more boxes to more different people.
And when you're selling the boxes at basically under MSRP, if you were selling them for 160, right? That's a little bit less than MSRP usually.
Yeah, I just like even numbers. MSRP is such a weird number.
Yeah. was it? Do you have any stipulations to it, or is it just like is it like a rip or ship scenario, or do you rip them all in that at that time, or how did you go
So
with that?
the only stipulation I had was 2 per person.
Hmm.
Ripped or shipped, either was fine with me. And we didn't rip many boxes, but we ripped a lot of packs. We probably opened maybe 5 or 6 boxes, and then a ton of loose packs. So most people did have their boxes shipped sealed, and
Okay.
I'm fine with that. I cannot say ripped only, because then I'd be live for just
Yeah.
days on end at that
Yeah.
point.
You would have product for quite a while though.
That is true. That is true.
But yeah, I totally get that for sure.
Um,
Do you open Japanese boxes at all, or is it purely English at this point?
no, I do Japanese. I started. I forget what set I started with. But it's not nearly as much as English. Terrestrial Festival was really good. Sold probably hundreds of those boxes. What was the set? Battle Partners was decent. Maybe
Heatwave,
sold.
I think, was the newest one. Heatwave Arena.
Yeah. Heatwave. I've sold. What have I sold of Heatwave? Maybe like 20 boxes of Heatwave so far.
Okay.
So there is a little bit of a demand. Not nearly as much as English, but I am starting to get into Japanese. So
Okay,
we'll see.
cool.
We'll see how that goes. Obviously, with the tariffs, that's gonna be a little bit more difficult. But hopefully be able to continue doing that.
Sorry, I just got a weird DM.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay. Never mind. That's a weird question. I saw the question mark and I was like, wait a minute. and then I read the question and I was like, okay, never mind. Thanks, Mason.
I think Mason and Walrus are in the wrong chat.
I don't know what they're doing. But yeah, guys, make sure you post your questions in. We're running low on questions on my sheet. I've got through a lot of it. So if you guys have questions, we're here for another little bit. If you want to hear more about what we think about. So what I do basically is grade and flip. Still kind of the grade and flipping business. And I was curious, so do you sell a lot of slabs? Do you auction a lot of slabs? And what I guess companies do you feel like are doing the best for you right now? Seems like it's kind of PSA or bust sometimes, but I feel like some people can make CGC work, but I don't know. What are you seeing on your lives?
So yeah, no, people do really like graded cards. Me and Walrus were doing good for a while there, getting new graded cards in. He does the same, similar to you, where he buys a bunch of Japanese stuff, grades them, and then sells them to me. So we were able to get a bunch of Japanese stuff in. I was getting a decent bit of English stuff in, and now it's I'm running low on graded. Luckily, I've got a few submissions out, so hopefully those will come back soon, and we'll be able to have a nice little restock. But graded is definitely popular in the streams. I would say I personally really don't like BGS. We've talked about it in the streams. People know that I really don't like BGS, so I don't think BGS cards do very well. But PSA and CDC seem to do good in the streams. And we were talking about this on one PokeFlips at some point. I do wonder how much the actual streamer has to do with pricing, specifically on graded cards. Because like Dan always says, they don't do well with CDC. And obviously PK absolutely hates CDC. So how much does that have to do with PK being the streamer versus the actual audience? Whereas I personally genuinely really like CGC. I absolutely love the pristine 10s. And so I'm always talking up CGC. And so in my streams, CGC does really good. To the point where it doesn't make sense to send a PSA. We probably send 95% of our cards to CGC, and then 5% to PSA, because especially now, because PSA is taking so much longer than CGC.
Yeah.
And then the cost is almost double the cost of CGC. You're paying 10, just under $10 a card for CGC, whereas you're paying $18 a card for PSA.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that is interesting. I feel like slabs a lot of times, from what I've seen, are almost like you run them because people like graded cards, but not necessarily because you're going to make a bunch of money off them. It's more like hoping to break even and then making a bunch of money on your singles, but you run them so that people can buy them, sort of thing. Like I can imagine if you run some really expensive cards, you're probably a lot of times hoping that the lesser expensive cards do well enough that if you lose, on your big flagship card, that it's probably that it's fine. Like at the end of the day, it's still a plus, but you can still have like a really expensive card to kind of tent pole that stream around.
Yep.
Is that sort of a concept, I guess, that
for the expensive graded, for expensive graded and expensive singles, yes. The more expensive it is, the closer you're going to get to market, or even under market. Whereas if you're running a cheap card, the better off you're going to do. So you include those higher end cards to kind of build excitement and get people interested in the stream.
Cool.
Not necessarily to do really, really well on it. Like I did a BGS 9.5 Moonbryon for this was for Pokemon Day, and I bought it at the worst possible time. I bought it at like the complete peak of Moonbryon pricing, and then I held on to it for like a month and a half to run it for Pokemon Day. So by the time I actually sold it, so the card was worth it was like $2,400 when I bought it. So I paid $2,000 for it, and then by the time I ran it, it was probably worth $2,000, somewhere in that range, and it ended up going for $1,650 or something like that. So I lost a ton of money on that card, but people really enjoyed having that card in the stream. It was something that I was able to kind of highlight as a showpiece for the stream, and it gave a lot of interest to the stream in general. So it brought new people in, hyped it up, and all that stuff. But for the most part, the graded cards that I'm running are anywhere like $20 to $50 range, somewhere in there.
Okay.
I'm not running $50, $100 cards over and over again. Sprinkle those in and then focus on like the lower end graded stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Grimer has a question for you. What is your favorite set to rip live?
Ooh, I would honestly say I still really enjoy Crown Zenith. Crown Zenith is a lot of fun. And then Journey Together has been fun since it's new. I would say that's the biggest thing is I like English over Japanese, so I enjoy ripping English more than Japanese. Crown Zenith I don't think I'll ever get sick of because I love that set. Same with Celebrations, absolutely love that set. I don't think I could ever get sick of ripping those, but all the other sets they do get old after a while. So even like 151, which is like the perfect set for me because I'm Kanto. I love Gen 1. Even that set at this point is old because we've seen everything so many times. So being able to do a new set is exciting where you don't know every single card, you haven't seen every single card. Yeah. So yeah, I would say those three: the newest set, and then Crown Zenith and Celebrations.
So as a person though who basically left the hobby because of how horrible Team Rocket was back in the day, Are you excited or not so excited for Destined Rivals coming out with all those Team Rocket cards?
I'm actually really excited. I am really excited for Team Rocket. Opening Heat Wave has been a lot of fun. So just Heat Wave is really good. Combine that with Glory of Team Rocket. I think Destined Rivals is going to be such a fun set to open.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm not going to be able to get any of it, but I'm excited I'm excited to buy some singles like a year from now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh man.
No, I am very much looking forward to it.
Nice. That's awesome. Let's see. So Music City Games, we did answer this a little bit earlier, the advice for a new live streamer that's looking to do this full time. I guess at what point, well, you were kind of full-time Pokemon before you started, but you were doing it half and half until at some point you knew like, okay, we can do this full time now. Was there a moment, was there like a really big stream, or was there a moment where you were just like, yeah, I think it's time that we can take this completely full time on live instead of trying to balance both?
Not it was more so when I had been doing the 6 days a week. Very, very shortly after I switched from doing 3 days a week to 6 days a week. So kind of making streaming a real priority is when I very quickly gave up singles. And I actually remember I was talking with Walrus the night I made that decision. And he asked me how much do you actually make off of singles? And I was like, I actually don't know. So I went back and I figured out, okay, completely forget the numbers, but say to make it easy, I did $100,000 in sales for the entire month. Of that 100,000, 60,000 was from eBay Live. And 40,000 was from my eBay store. So of that 40,000, how much was sub $5 singles? And it turned out to be like less than $5,000, so less than 5% of my business. And so it very quickly became apparent, is an extra $5,000 a month worth doing all of this extra work? And it was a super easy no, it's not worth it.
Gotcha. So yeah, just doing the math and figuring it out. That seems, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense to me. Especially, yeah, to think like $5,000 in 1 month of $1 singles. That's a lot of shipping. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of, yeah. I can't imagine. Let's see. Timmy has this is an interesting question, since you're doing it 6 days a week. How do you prevent burnout? Or if you don't prevent it, if you feel burnout, how do you work through it? And then how do you recover from it?
It's tough. It's tough. Luckily for me, I don't really do much outside of Pokemon. Because like we were just saying earlier, it's my job, it's my hobby. I don't really do much outside of Pokemon, so I can spend a crazy amount of time on Pokemon and enjoy it. But there are definitely times where I'm just absolutely sick of it. Like with this CollectCon weekend is a really good example. I am so done with streaming right now, because I know that, okay, in a couple of days I'm gonna have a nice week off break from streaming. So I just want that vacation to come. But yeah, no, normally preventing burnout. I'm normally just not burnt out, which is nice. But definitely taking time off to just go outside, walk around a bit, going out to eat, going to a restaurant, having a good time, just kind of forgetting about Pokemon for a bit. Is the way that I do it. I want to I used to be really big into biking. I didn't bring my bike out here. I have that back home still. So I want to get a new bike so I can at least take some time off and go for a bike ride, do something, get outside. Now that the weather is actually getting nice.
Yeah, so you moved from the Northeast, kind of like Massachusetts area, right? And you
Yep.
moved to Chicago. So now you're in the Chicagoland area, suburbs around it. Um, how have you been enjoying Chicago? I lived in the suburbs of Chicago for like 6 or 7 years and really enjoyed it out there. How have you been enjoying it so far?
I enjoy it. I have not gotten I now that we're kind of settled because I moved out here in October. And the first couple months were just hectic, getting set up, getting
Hmm.
adjusted, all that stuff. Now that and then we went into winter, so the weather hasn't been nice. Now that the weather's finally getting nice, I do want to venture out more into the city and kind of explore it and find good places to go and all that stuff. Because right now I have not ventured out very much.
Hmm.
I've ventured out around here, but have not done too much. So Chicago itself is nice, but I really haven't done much. Um, it's tough getting used to the traffic. I'm not
Yeah.
used to that because I grew up in a smaller town. Wasn't a small town, but it was smaller than being in a city. So that's the biggest thing is dealing with traffic and then having everything be street parking.
Yeah, I think when I lived like 30 miles north of Chicago for 6 or 7 years, I think during that whole time I probably went down Chicago like less than 5 times
Hmm. Yep.
because it's such an inaccessible downtown. The traffic is horrible. It does have decent public transportation, like some of the trains that go in downtown, but yeah, I could have done it more. But yeah, the traffic is brutal.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
yeah, definitely. Um, all right, I gotta ask: have you had deep dish pizza yet? And how do
Yes.
you like it
Mm.
in comparison to the pizza that you get in the Northeast, which is mostly like New York style, or maybe you had like New Haven, maybe up there?
Yep.
Um, what do you think?
I do really like deep dish. It's not a pizza that you could have like for me. I could have like New York style pizza every single night.
Mm.
I would never get sick of it. But deep dish is something you cannot have that every night. But yeah, every once in a while for sure.
Yeah,
I tried Giordano's and then I tried Lou Malnati's as well. And Lou Malnati's is definitely the one to go to.
nice.
That has been my absolute favorite.
Yeah, I really like the if you haven't had a chance to try it yet, it's the thin crust tavern style
Yep.
Chicago pizza.
Yep.
I like that one quite a lot. That's probably my favorite of the styles out there, but
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
it's good
that
stuff.
that's real. That's good too. I do like that. And we got a good place for it, like right down the street from me, which is nice.
Oh,
So
nice.
I
That's nice.
definitely know what you're talking about there.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Definitely.
Mm.
Um, Timmy's got a question, but again, we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier about the sourcing and hiring streamers. Well, I guess we could talk about you are not a one man show. You do have help. I
Yes.
guess we have to bring them up now. Um, Walrus is a big part of your team and your operation. So I'm curious, what is the work balance between like what does Walrus provide to your kind of like the back end, the prep, the shipping, like what does he take care of for your business? Finally, this gets good.
So no, that was the biggest really the I would never be out here if it wasn't for Walrus. I'd be in Massachusetts still. Because obviously all my family is out there or back there. So I moved out here to be closer to him, and it's working out really well. In the beginning, it was him helping me do all the shipping every day. Now it's turned into I'll do the streams one night, get everything kind of organized, and drop everything off with him, and he does all the shipping now. So it's so nice. All the singles the few singles that we do have listed on eBay still, he ships all that stuff. He does all the live shipping. So that's the biggest portion of what he does. He also buys off of Bai, and then sends cards off to CGC for grading. So that's kind of where I get all my Japanese singles, all my Japanese graded is from him. He'll do all the PSA and CDC submissions. So I'll give him a big stack of cards that I've gone through, and he'll put them all into the semi-rigids, fill out the paperwork, drop everything off for me. So it works out really, really well.
Nice. Yeah. It sounds like, what do you do apart from streaming? No, just kidding.
Sit around and watch TV.
No, that's funny. No, yeah, that's it's nice to have help. I'm sure when you're in Massachusetts by yourself, I'm sure that was yeah, I can't even imagine having to do all the shipping and everything yourself and everything after the fact.
Yeah,
plus the sourcing, plus the sending off your own stuff for grading, plus the mass rips of all the boxes that you used to do, and yeah. Yeah, I'm also curious. I'm also curious as to what he does. Hey, I already asked it. All right, I asked it.
It's not easy being the cute face behind the operation.
Yeah, he's the face. Let's see. Do you have to share your account for Walrus to pack the orders? Chef is curious.
There is a way that you can give people remote access to just list or just ship or just answer messages. There is a way that you can do that. I forget what it's called. Multi-access user. If you want to look that up, you can look that up. And basically they'll have a unique password that'll just get them into that area of the account. For me and for Walrus, I gave him full access, so he's got my regular eBay login and all that stuff. So
risky.
yes, yeah. Trust in the shady character. It's possible to do that access, but it's also limited, and it looks weird too. So I would almost say just find someone that you trust, which is definitely tough. But find someone that you trust and just give them full access. In reality, what could someone do? There's a decent bit. They could end all your listings. They could, I don't know. But what could they do that would be really detrimental?
Oh, does he have a business credit card as well?
He does. Yes, he does.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Well, he does do a lot of buys.
The credit card he has is the one that has a lower limit. So
we're good. We're good. All right. Put the brakes on him. Timmy, Nick, have you always been so happy, or do you just love doing Pokemon full time?
I think I've always been happy. I've always been happy.
I don't feel like I've ever seen you mad, or maybe you just don't project it on publicly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like on videos and stuff. But yeah, I feel like you're always laughing. You're always having a good time.
No, it does happen. It does happen.
Yeah.
I'll turn into the Incredible Hulk when I'm mad. But it doesn't happen often, but it does happen every now and then. But no, I genuinely loved being on the ship as that job. There's parts of it that I miss and that I would like to go back to, but at the same time, there's a lot of downsides to it as well. And then genuinely do love doing this with Pokemon.
I should ask as well, Timmy, thank you for bringing that up, because OSP is known for the No Damage Ninetales, being the No Damage Ninetales collector. When was the last No Damage Ninetales that you've purchased?
Has it been a while now? Yeah, no, that's been a good while. It's a couple years at least.
Oh wow.
I got to number 50. So I've got 49 graded copies, 1 sealed copy. So I've got 50 total. And I like the number 50. So I think I'm good there. If I get any more, then I'm gonna want to go for 60 and then 70 and then 80. So I think 50 is good for right now. I do still keep an eye out for PSA 9s. PSA 9s do not pop up very often at all. So if I can find another PSA 9 in the wild, I'll definitely try and get that. And then obviously, if I ever come across a 10, I would love to get that one. But aside from that, I've got every grade besides a 1, and then like the half grades. I don't have those. And then I've pretty much got multiples of every grade. So I think I'm pretty content on that right now.
How many 10s exist of that card?
As far as I know, so like when PSA was originally grading them, they were just grading them as shadowless Ninetales. So like the shadowless Ninetales PSA 10 pop, a certain percentage of that is no damage Ninetales.
Gotcha.
As far as we know, there's at least one copy out there, which sold back. It sold back in 2017 for $7,500, and we've just never seen it again.
Interesting. And you don't know who has it?
I do not. No.
Is that a similar situation with a lot of, because it came in a theme deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a similar situation where don't some of the theme decks have like indents from the packaging or like glue from the packaging or something? Is that something that affects those cards?
Yeah, now it definitely would. Because the shadowless so it comes out of the shadowless Brushfire theme deck. And it's the first card on that deck, and there's a big seal going straight down the middle of it, where now after all these years, the glue from that seal seeped onto the Ninetales. So if you do find like a sealed copy, there's a really good chance that it's going to have that glue stain on it. And
so keep it sealed.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Every now and then, because I have a sealed copy, and it's so like the back of the deck is pretty much slit all the way across, so you can kind of wiggle that front seal around, and to me it doesn't look like there's a glue stain on it. So every once in a while, I'm really tempted to open it.
Oh boy!
And see, but I'd be so disappointed if it got anything less than a 10.
Yeah.
So it's a massive gamble. So I think that's gonna stay sealed.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Who knows even how many sealed are still out there? Even that might be.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. Yeah. I only know of. I know I've got one. Rusty's got one. And then I forget the other guy. There's one other guy that I know that has one. So I know of 3 that are out there.
Nice. Chef just brought up the deck boxes. I know you're big sealed deck collector as well, right?
Yeah. Yep.
In a collection I got, so they're empty, but they're in really good condition. So I put them in plastic. But I have basically every deck from the first ones, like the Brushfire and those like early ones, and then all the way to like Team Rocket, and I have like the Legendary Collection ones, and they're all in decent condition. They're all empty. They all have like their markers and their pamphlet or whatever. But there's a part of me that's like, one, would they do well on a stream? And 2,
I was just thinking that.
Do they have any value at all as like display pieces? As the deck box person, what do you think about that?
I think they definitely have value. I think they definitely do have value. And I would say they like your Legendary Collection, and then if you have like the e-readers, those are probably worth a good bit and probably worth listing on like normal eBay. But then like Base, Jungle, Fossil, Team Rocket, the Gym, the Neo, I could see those doing decently well on eBay Live. But yeah, no, they're definitely worth money. There's someone who would definitely pay. I don't think they're worth a ton of money, but I can definitely see $10-20 a piece.
Okay.
It's the same as like WotC booster boxes or even
Oh, yeah.
like pack wrappers. There's definitely someone that would buy those.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah, they've just been sitting for a while. It's a collection I bought years ago, and this person was very meticulous. They also had a binder of all the pack wrappers from base set all the way to like EX era, I think, like Ruby Sapphire and stuff like that. And then they had all
Neat.
these boxes, and it was a really cool collection. It had a lot of great cards too. But yeah, it was pretty awesome.
That's cool.
Peeked at you. We kind of talked about this a little bit. We can cover it just slightly again. When are you expanding to other platforms? I know you've talked about it. We talked about Bid a little bit earlier,
Yes.
and that seems
Yes.
to be the highest potential, maybe, of expanding.
Yeah, I would say so. If anything, it would be that one. Whatnot, no shot. And then Fanatics, I have no way to get on there.
Okay. Yeah, I assume Fanatics is it completely closed like eBay right now? Like you have to be approved essentially by the people to even start a stream on there?
Yeah, as far as I know, it is.
Okay. All right. Well, this might be a good place to wrap it up, Nick. I really appreciate you coming on for this. And it was a great conversation. I really enjoyed it. Let the people know again where they can support you before we call it a day.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, appreciate all you guys watching. I'm on Instagram, OldSkoolPokemon, eBay Live, 6 nights a week, Monday through Saturday. That's probably the best place to get me. But as always, Java, I do appreciate you having me on. I've been thoroughly enjoying these daily podcasts, and hopefully it's not too much for you to keep them going every day. I am curious. What are you gonna do for Collecticon?
So I have 3 that I pre-recorded with people that are going to go up at 8 p.m. on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So
okay.
I won't have to be live on those days, thankfully.
That'll be good. That'll be good.
Yeah. And guys, the link above the chat, it should be pinned up there. That is the eBay link for Nick's eBay Live. Make sure to hit the save seller button and you'll be notified the next time he's up slinging cards and packs. All right. All right, guys. Thank you guys for stopping by. We'll see you tomorrow. I think I'm talking to Mason, Cardinal Gaming, so that'll be a fun one.
Ooh.
And yeah, appreciate it. See you guys later.